Greetings, powerful, persuasive, sexy Scorpio. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and a tarot card reader, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now I'm going to do the May 2020 forecast for Scorpio. I'm going to do a tarot reading, and then I'm going to talk a bit about planets. Definitely stay for the second half to hear about the planets. There are some major energetic shifts, planetary shifts happening in May. If you are just stumbling upon my channel for the first time, please subscribe. And I recommend that you watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get the fullest scope of what to expect in May. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising, you should definitely contact me to have a reading. Everyone should have readings. I think everyone should have regular readings with an astrologer and tarot card reader, but everyone should definitely have their chart done at least once in life. And as we enter the month of May, Scorpio, you have the moon. So you were looking very intuitive, very psychic, in an emotional space, maybe reflecting on the past, and that kind of thing. You were covered by the Lover's reverse. So this could be not seeing eye to eye with your partner. For those who aren't in a relationship, it could be longing for a partner. And you were crossed by the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is, you know, you have a lot of options for the future, and you are deciding which path you want to take. And the basis is the Two of Cups. Again, this has to do with a romantic relationship. It looks like a partnership where two people are very much in love. What's leaving is the Magician. So this is a possibly the start of something new. This sometimes can represent a man. What could come into being is the Five of Pentacles. So this is this can be a financial injury or a spiritual injury of some kind, being hurt in some way. And sometimes it can actually be a physical injury. You see that the figure in this card is bandaged and he seems to have hurt himself. Anyway, what will come into being is the King of Cups. So around mid-month, we see a man being very romantic, a man who's in love. Fears or insecurities, Six of Swords. This has to do with a trip or a journey. And maybe there's an opportunity to travel and you're having some insecurity or something around it. But if it's not literally a trip, this card can also be just about moving from a choppy emotional state to a more serene and calm emotional state. And there may be fears or insecurities around that for Scorpio in May. Others see you. This is the Nine of Pentacles. So this is abundant, prosperous, and independent. That's how others see you, Scorpio. Your positive feelings, the world. It looks like towards the end of the month, your vision is coming to life, Scorpio, and you feel great about it. And then the outcome is the High Priestess reverse. So this can be secrets coming out at the end of the month of May. It can also be gossip. And then the High Priestess reverse can also represent like an older, wiser woman in your life who's out of alignment somehow. She might be sick, she might be unhappy, you may not be seeing eye to eye with her on something like that. But a lot of times it represents secrets and gossip and that kind of thing, and or. So that is the tarot overview for Scorpio for the month of May, and I want to get a little bit into the planets. I'll just say that if you were the Scorpio rising personality, it is a very 8th house dominant month for you, which the 8th house is the house that Scorpio naturally rules. And so that means very Scorpio themes in the month of May, like, you know, sex, death, rebirth, regeneration, you know, transformation, other people's money, that kind of thing. So May 5th, there's a nodal shift, and the nodes are going to be moving into the Gemini Sagittarius axis. So the North Node is going to be in Gemini. And again, for the Scorpio rising personality, that's happening in your 8th house. But for all of us collectively, this is going to be a shift in our North Star, in our direction, in these areas that Gemini and Sagittarius represent, which has a lot to do with communications and has a lot to do with learning and also religion and spirituality and things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting time, and it's a great time to get a reading because you can see what this means for us collectively, but also you can look at it in your own chart and where it's moving through your chart, the timing, and what that will look like for you as the next year and a half unfolds and the collective Dharma changes directions. And May 7th is the full moon of Scorpio. This is a very psychic full moon. It's a very deep full moon. It's a very sexy full moon, very mysterious full moon. Full moons in general are times of heightened emotion, heightened psychic receptivity, and things like that. Well, Scorpio, this is your moon, and you are the most deep. You are the most sensitive and psychic, and so the Scorpio moon, it can be a dark moon. It's a heavy moon. I mean, the moon is in its detriment in Scorpio, but Scorpios are familiar with this energy, so it's not so dark for a Scorpio. It's a very comfortable, familiar place for the Scorpio. And so, you know, you're going to be very psychic, you're going to be very sexual, you're going to be possibly very motivated and driven from a deep place. May 11th is the first retrograde of the month. We have 3 planets going retrograde in May and 4 planetary ingresses. So a lot of energetic shifts happening in May. The first retrograde is Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius at 1 degree Aquarius. For the Scorpio rising personality, that's going to be happening in your 4th house of home. It's also the house of the mother. It's also the house of the past. It's also the house of the ancestors. And Mercury, if you don't know your rising, contact me to get your chart done. And you can watch the video. If you do know your rising, watch the video for your rising, and I'll talk about which house that's happening in for you. Also, May 11th, Mercury is moving into Gemini. This is a great time for communication while Mercury is in Gemini through the 28th of May. May 13th, Mars moves into Pisces. While Mars is traveling through Pisces throughout the rest of this month, people are going to be driven and motivated from an emotional standpoint. Also, May 13th, Venus goes retrograde. This is very notable. This is the first Venus retrograde we have had in a year and a half. Venus retrograde means relationships are coming up for review, romantic relationships, and you will be, maybe unresolved issues from the past will be coming up to be communicated about and dealt with at this time. Venus also rules creativity, and so for artists and creative people, that is going to mean art or projects or issues within your practice that are coming up for review at this time. May 14th, and then for some people, Venus manifests in monetary issues. Again, so for the Scorpio rising personality, this is happening in your 8th house. May 14th, Jupiter goes retrograde. So that is, you know, the 3rd retrograde of the month, the 3rd planet. And that's happening in Capricorn. So for the Scorpio rising personality, that's happening in your 3rd house of communication. It's also the house of siblings and neighbors or neighbors. And May 15th, the sun enters Gemini. It's Gemini season. May 22nd is the new moon in Gemini. New moons are a great time to start new. They're a great time to set intentions, plant the seeds that you want to manifest. The Gemini new moon is the writer's new moon. If you are a writer, it's a perfect time to begin a new written project that you want to flourish and manifest and reach its destination. You will be really fully supported by the universe in that effort. It's also a great time to start learning anything new. It's a great time to set any intentions around the nervous system, anything about speaking, also intentions around siblings, around neighbors, around relatives. That's all really supported under the Gemini new moon. And finally, May 28th, Mercury enters Cancer, the fourth planetary ingress happening within the month. And at that time, communication shifts to being more emotional for the rest of the month. And that's the broad overview for Scorpio. If you liked the video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like. I highly recommend that you contact me directly. I can read on FaceTime or in person. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with other Scorpios. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.eliannicole. And have a wonderful May, Scorpio.